Welcome to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and as promised, it's time for team-specific 7-round mock drafts, and today it's time for the Cleveland Browns, and I cannot believe this, but apparently there's a lot of Browns fans following this channel as the Browns fans came through. They voted for their team, and they are the first team to receive a team-specific mock draft other than my favorite team, the Tennessee Titans. Let's look at the mock draft, and then let's discuss it afterwards in 3, 2, 1. So there you go. That is the Browns 2017 7-round mock draft. And let me tell you something, Browns fans, because for some reason, some of you guys already know you're going to disagree with some of the picks that I have here. But what you must understand, and I don't know why this is so shocking to say, but your team stinks, okay? And when you stink, when you go 1-15 or 2-14 or wherever you went, you have to understand that there are positions that you just need to upgrade, even though you may like some of the players at those positions, because obviously they're not that good if you still go 2-14. Now, there are certainly players on your football team that I like moving forward. I like almost everyone on your offensive line, which is why I did not take an offensive lineman until round 7. I do like Jamie Collins. I do like Christian Kirksey. I like some guys, but there are improvements that need to be made. We're going to talk about all of these picks. Let's start with the first pick. Myles, Garrett, defensive end out of Texas A&M. No one disagrees with this, hopefully. Now, some people like Solomon Thomas, and actually, hey, I'm fine with that, but they got to take Myles Garrett to me. Myles Garrett has the higher upside, just barely, though, over Solomon Thomas, because Myles Garrett, he could be, I'm not saying he's going to be, but he could be that 18-plus sack guy, while Solomon Thomas will probably cap out at about 15. And those are their absolute upsides. I mean, that is just, if they hit their entire ceilings, whatever, you have to go with Myles Garrett, because he could be that Hall of Fame, Lawrence Taylor, Julius Peppers, echelon guy. You cannot pass on Myles Garrett. We move on to the 12th pick. It's got to be, well, that doesn't have to be, but I think it's going to be a quarterback for the Cleveland Browns at number 12. And I don't care if it's Mitchell Trubisky. I don't care if it's Deshaun Watson. I don't care if it's Patrick Mahomes. To me, it's probably going to be one of these quarterbacks. Now, if you watched my 2017 mock draft 7.0, this is not necessarily what I would do. I would look to move up and take Jonathan Allen or Malik Hooker, because I would be more interested in building our defense this year than next year taking a quarterback in a class that will probably have 3 really good quarterbacks at the top of it. That's what I would do. But if you listen to the rumors everywhere, Mary Kay Cabot, the Cleveland writer, I want to say for the Cleveland Plain Dealer, I think that's the name of that newspaper, something weird like that. She's been going on and on about this. The Browns are looking to take a quarterback at 12 or possibly move up to the top 5, surpassing the New York Jets and taking a quarterback before they can take a quarterback. A dangerous decision there, because although I do believe Trubisky will probably end up being a starting NFL quarterback, I'm not sure I'd trade up for them. At number 12, they take him. I'm fine with it. I'd probably give this pick an A- or B+. I personally, though, I always strive for A, so personally, maybe I wouldn't do it, but I'd be fine with it. Again, do not take Deshaun Watson to me. Deshaun Watson, yes, he's the national champion. He's the guy that everyone knows, all the laymen and casual fans know. But trust me, man, you're going to have issues with Deshaun Watson, especially if he goes to Cleveland, man. I mean, he's not going to be a total bust, Deshaun Watson, but he's never going to be that guy. And to me, 4, 5, 6 years, he's going to phase out, and he's not going to be starting anymore in the NFL. Don't go down that road. Trubisky, though, he has that upside. He has that potential to me where I can look at him and say, even though I don't think he's going to be very good, I can see that possibility. Deshaun Watson will never be that 30-plus touchdown guy. Deshaun Watson, at best, could be a really good game manager for you that can get you over the top and maybe put you in the Super Bowl and win it. I mean, he can do that for you, but you have to build a hell of a roster before he can do that. We move on to the second round. At the top of the second round, I have the Browns taking Obi Melifonwu, the safety/cornerback out of UConn. Now, let me tell you about this guy. I'm not a huge fan of this guy. I'm a huge fan of his measurables, as is everybody, right? He had a great 40 time, setting at about 6'3" or 6'4", ran, I want to say like a 4.38. 40, incredible broad jump, incredible vertical jump. He was great athletically. On film, he's still not a very good or refined football player. And in a class where there's a lot of good and refined football players, like a Buda Baker, free safety out of Washington, that is where I would go with this pick. But the Browns, they will still be a little presumptuous. They will still be a little gumptious. And they will make picks like this, right? Because this is what they do. So they're going to do stuff that I disagree with. They do it every year. And they're going to go out on a limb, right? They should have taken Corey Coleman last year at 15. They shouldn't have. But that's what they did, because that's what they do. So knowing this is the Cleveland Browns, this is just such a Cleveland Browns pick. Believing that they can turn him into a good football player, and maybe they will. But this is the problem with the Browns. We move on to 52. As the Browns take wide receiver Chris Godwin. And this is where we're going to finally have some disagreement. Because I know a lot of Browns fans are going to tell me we do not need a wide receiver. We have Corey Coleman, we have Kenny Britt, and we have all of the clowns that we took in last year's draft class. We have Jordan Payton, we have Ricardo Lewis, we have Rashard Higgins, we have all those other, like 2 more clowns. They all stink. Every single one of them stinks, okay? Even Corey Coleman, he's all right, but man, he had the first 2 good games, I want to say like over 100 yards maybe, or at least one of them was over 100 yards, the other one was like over 70, had a nice touchdown, but man, he's never going to be, to me, even a very good number 2 wide receiver. He's not a great route runner, not a great hands catcher, and I want to say this year he caught under 50% of his targets. Or maybe just over 50%. That's bad. And it's never going to be much higher than that, right? He's not a high percentage guy to where you can throw it to him consistently and expect him to come down with the football consistently. Not a great route runner, not a great hands catcher. Let's improve upon our wide receiver position and put Corey Coleman in a position to where he can be the number 3 wide receiver. And then after that, then we can let Rashard Higgins and Jordan Payton and Ricardo Lewis and all of those clowns that we took at the end of last year's draft, let them battle it out. I mean, they took 5 wide receivers last year. I couldn't believe what the Browns are doing, and all of them stunk. Okay? I mean, it was ridiculous with the Cleveland Browns. I know y'all like Corey Coleman. I know he had like maybe 400 yards, and you believe that you can project him to say, okay, now he's going to get 800. Next year he's going to get 1,000. I'm telling you, you're in trouble. Because he's not going to be any better than Tavon Austin has proven to be. He's not going to be any better than Kendall Wright has proven to be. But I think Kendall Wright's even better than Corey Coleman. So that's just to me. Let's take a wide receiver in Chris Godwin. And also, Josh Gordon is not coming back to this franchise at least. We move on to the 3rd round and we'll speed things up from here. The Browns taking cornerback Sidney Jones out of Washington. This would be a smart pick. All right, so I'm not sure why I have the Browns doing it, but yeah, you can stash Sidney Jones, right? Because the Browns aren't trying to make the playoffs this year. Sidney Jones, just in case you don't know, he's a really good prospect out of Washington who tore his Achilles during his pro day. Really unfortunate, and now he is going to drop, to me, to the late 2nd round, early 3rd, maybe even the 4th, God forbid, but it's a possibility. If you take this guy, stash this guy, next year you could have a number 1 corner just waiting in the wings. And then 2018, the Browns can make a playoff push. Because to me, any team is only 1 year away. I don't ever want to hear 2-3 years. If you know what you're doing, you can rebuild an entire team in 1 year. I've seen it time and time again. So to me, stash Sidney Jones, wait until next year, and then he can do well for you. And this is too smart of a pick, so they probably won't do it. But if you're the Browns, you have all these draft picks. You don't need to compete this year. It makes a lot of sense to me. Even taking him at 52 makes sense to me. Look at the 4th round. Okay, I have them taking tight end Adam Sheehan out of Ashland. I know you guys like Gary Barnidge. He's okay. I'll give you that. But why not have another tight end? Last year, I want to say you guys drafted Seth DeVolve. Where is he from? UCLA? Something like that. He didn't impress me. Let's improve upon our tight end position with Adam Sheehan. Remember, guys, you stink for a reason. We need to improve upon almost every position. Almost every position. We move on to the 5th round. Inside linebacker Jaylen Reeves-Maybin, who, when I made this at the time, I think I overrated him a little bit. He probably may go in the 6th or 7th, but whatever. I'm going to stick by it. This would be a good pick here. Now, they currently have, the Browns do, Christian Kirksey and Jamie Collins in the same linebacking core, yes. Inside middle linebacker is not very strong. I can't remember who's starting there right now, but I know he's not very good. Jaylen Reeves maybe could be that role. He could also play weak side with Christian Kirksey a little bit. And just, adding more talent to your roster, because that's just what you need, guys. We move on to the next 5th round pick, Nazair Jones. I want to say that's how you pronounce his first name, out of North Carolina. He could be that 3 technique, or even, pretty much 3 technique defensive tackle that you would need next to Danny Shelton. And I know Desmond Bryant is coming back, but it's okay. We're not going to expect Nazair Jones to start immediately. He's a 5th round pick. But Desmond Bryant, to me, doesn't have many years left, and he's not very good. So I like Nazair Jones here. The next 5th round pick, there's 3 5th round picks here, and hopefully you learned last year, it doesn't matter, right? You can have all these 5th, 6th, 7th round picks. You're not going to find anybody. You're not going to find anybody. Yes, every year, maybe every 2 years or 3 years, there will be a Richard Sherman. There will be a Tom Brady. There could be a really good player. But you're hoping that you're going to find that player. And there's only one every 3 years. So just forget about 5th round picks. I don't know why the Browns keep stockpiling 5th, 6th, 7th round picks. So 5th round pick, number 3, running back Donnel Pumphrey out of San Diego State. And running back isn't a huge need. You have Crowell and you have Duke Johnson, but hey, you could use a 3rd running back. Why not? And the Browns have been meeting with a lot of running backs, so I think they're interested in taking one. Look at the next pick. We have a defensive tackle, another one, in Jeremiah Ledbetter. Again, I think the Browns need some more competition at defensive tackle, so why not take one here? I also consider safety, and maybe I should have went that direction, but I don't know. It doesn't really matter. We're looking at the 6th round now, the last pick for the Browns, the Storm Norton, the offensive tackle out of Toledo. Now, this is if Sean Coleman, your current right tackle, if he fails to develop. And I want to say there was another tackle you guys took last year as well. Man, you guys had a lot of draft picks. But it was Sean Coleman out of Baylor, and someone else. I know it was another tackle. I really think so. If either one of those don't develop to be your starting right tackle, Storm Norton, 6th round, perhaps he develops and takes over that role. The Browns, again, you guys stunk last year, but if you guys have a good draft class, right, your free agency was actually decent. I would have preferred you guys kept Terrell Pryor, have he and Kenny Britt in the same receiving core. Then you have Corey Coleman as your 3rd wide receiver. Then you can go in a different direction in the 2nd round to me. But you didn't. Okay, fine. And I really prefer that a couple years ago you guys would have just kept Mitchell Schwartz. You guys would have kept TJ Ward like 3 or 4 years ago. You guys would have kept Alex Mack. But you didn't. Right? So now we're in this position where we have to rebuild the entire roster. And as a result, no better probably this year than 6-10. No, maybe 7-9, but that's if Mr. Trubisky proves to be a very, 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 very good quarterback who elevates this team. And if Myles Garrett gets like maybe 12 sacks his rookie year, which is a possibility, so let's consider it. So there you go. That is my 2017 NFL mock draft for the Cleveland Browns. What are your thoughts on this mock draft? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. This has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.